Asian Americans, including Filipinos in New York, call on leaders and communities to join them in rallying against hate crimes plaguing the country. In New York City, Joanne Soriano reports.
Prejudice against Asians began early in the pandemic, particularly here in Chinatown, when stores were forced to shutter or decrease their hours so that employees can get home safely at night. As the pandemic continued, attacks against Asians dramatically increased in number. According to the New York Police Department, hate crimes against Asians skyrocketed 361% in 2021. The numbers are likely much higher as not all incidents are reported or classified as hate crimes. Since the beginning of this year, some of the attacks included Michelle Go, who was pushed in front of an oncoming train at Times Square by a homeless man. A 67-year-old Filipina who was punched 125 times and kicked by another resident as she entered her apartment complex in Yonkers. A 73-year-old Filipino who was assaulted by a homeless man near Times Square. And recently, a 53-year-old Filipino who was beaten and robbed at a McDonald's in Midtown Manhattan. There have been 36 reported incidents against Filipinos since last year, according to the Philippine Consulate. In response to these unprovoked attacks, groups have been offering free self-defense workshops, even offering pepper spray as an added source of protection. This past Wednesday, Filipinos and Filipino Americans held a rally for justice, calling on elected officials to take action and support the community with resources, funding, and greater accessibility to aid. Philippine Consul General Elmer Cato has condemned the senseless attacks and advised kababayan to be extra vigilant and take necessary precautions, especially in public. They recently held their third virtual self-defense and situational awareness class since last year. New York Governor Hochul hosted a roundtable with Asian American leaders in March to discuss the alarming rise in hate crimes. Her administration is committed to sending a strong message that hate has no home in New York, and announced a $10 million investment in Asian American communities, the largest in the state's history. Joanne Soriano, Mata ng Aguila International, New York, New York, trusted, connected, on point.